And I'm all over social media, but not as much as Oscar at the moment. We had a question here, sir. Sorry.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Chris Stiles. Michael and panel, thank you so much. This is truly a wonderful afternoon. I'm learning so much from you. The question that I'd like to pose to you goes around what is currently happening in the South African event industry, and especially the international events. This flood of international speakers that have arrived, National Achievers Congress, Success Summit, etc., where we have the equivalent of international gurus that are coming here to teach us how to create more success. Now, what I'm intrigued at is firstly the pricing of their packages, the delivery of their packages, and it's actually quite interesting the perception that is starting to happen where when we, and Suzanne and I are very much involved with entrepreneurs and small business, when South Africans, quite a couple of people that we interact with, hear that there's a South African speaker, it's almost like, oh no, I don't want to go, I rather want to go and listen to these international guys. And I actually find that very disturbing. And Lynn, it goes back to the point that you made around the quality of South African speakers, and I really took that to heart. Now, the question to you is, are you actually noticing an impact on your industry and in South Africa as a result of this influx of international speakers? Where they're pricing it, 3 or 4 days training through, for example, Public Speakers University, where pitched at 35 or 38,000 rand, you're now a really, really good public speaker, as opposed to, Michael, what you mentioned around earning the right. I'm really curious, given the fact that this is an industry that you live, sleep, and breathe in, how you are perceiving the current impact. Thank you kindly.
Then I'm going to come to you that my own comment on that would be that this is the largest unregulated industry, as we've mentioned. There are snake oil salesmen who will roll their 32 vehicle convoy into town, put up their tent, ask you to empty your wallet. They'll tell you that you can fly to work. And you go, on Friday afternoon, you're flying to work. Come Monday morning, your audience walk because they didn't have wings. You can give out your cash, and you can give it out to snake oil salesmen, and it's not just in this industry. There's been a flurry of it recently. Lynn, and then Jacques, let me comment there. Lynn, your thoughts?
I'd like to address that from the public speaking perspective. As a public speaking coach in South Africa, I know who you're talking about, who flies into this country. I'm trying to be diplomatic about.
They call it a seagull parade.
Oh, seagull.
They fly in, shit on us, eat our food, and fly home.
Yes, okay. That particular seagull that flies in promises the world that in one weekend he's going to charge you, I think it's between 35 and 50,000 rand for one weekend with him. He is going to fly out with his seagull and his shit with him, and you are going to take off and earn 50,000 rand an hour.
But right now it's a secret.
Okay. Oh, it's a secret, absolutely. Yeah. I think it's absolutely criminal that these people are allowed to do this. I took the opportunity of sitting in on that person's free presentation, and I was absolutely horrified at the, excuse my language, crap that he gave to the people in the audience. And it's sad because what he was charging 50,000 rand for the weekend for people, if I was working with a corporate client, it would have cost maximum 20,000, and I would have worked one-on-one with that client, and I would have been honest with them. I would have turned around to them and said, you know what, you're going to be great at your next company conference, but don't give up your day job because you're not going to be a public speaker. And I think that that particular gentleman comes in here and he sells dreams that aren't available.
And his colleagues.
And his colleagues. But there's one in particular.
So you asked what the impact was on our speaking industry. Minimal, because the people that come to these seminars are individuals. So they're paying. So remember, corporates pay us money, but those are for individuals. But the power is amazing. I went to one of these things. 80 people signed up for 30K, just like that. It's that whole group thing.
But he's selling a dream that doesn't exist.
Yeah. But I just want to jump to something on pricing. As a salesperson, I always try to get away from price and rather sell value. And one of the mistakes we make, first we ask, what's your budget? What's your speaker? And then the guy's saying, well, 20,000 or 10,000, whatever the case. And then you've got a price point. But here's the thing, and Gavin Sharples puts it very nicely. He says he's a top and tailor. He either opens a convention or closes a convention. A speaker can make or break a convention. What is that worth? 20,000, 200,000? So maybe ask the question, what do you want to achieve? What will happen if this is a disaster? Then suddenly, I know someone once told me I charged 20 grand when I was a lot younger, and I thought it was quite a lot of money. And he said, listen, the muffins cost more than you, buddy. And that's the reality. In most conventions, the speaker is a tiny portion of this. And who's the worst speaker in a convention? Normally the MD.
Closely followed by the financial director.
Yeah, so in the middle, it's just boredom, and that's why you have to have your top and tailor. And most people, if you ask them, what did you remember from the convention? They remembered the speakers, they didn't remember the content.
It's true. And it's true the world over, I think, when the audience fills in to the conference center or the hotel room that you've booked, where are they going to sit? They're going to sit at the back under the exit signs. It's very rare to find people in the front row, to be caught like rabbits in the spotlight, listening to the MD, the regional sales director.
And I think there is a gap in this market. We've got event managers. I think we need message managers. And I know Missing Link do a little bit of it. USB, I know to some degree do a little bit of it. But I know, and what you all do, and God bless you for it, because you get one chance to get it right. It's the technical. It's all that stuff is important. That's the foundation. But what about doing some coaching with the MD? What about helping him to construct that presentation? What about helping him with his slides? Because that's ultimately what it's about. I mean, it's about making your message their mission. I worked with a CEO of a small company, and it was the best CEO presentation I've ever seen. And I said to him, and I told him this, and he said, well, I've spent the past 6 months working on that presentation. I was like, wow, where do you get the time for that? He said, this is my annual sales call on my people. I get one chance with all of them to really get this message across. And unfortunately, I think many executives need you. Actually, they need to see what the emperor with no, they need the mirror.
And to ask your speakers to give more, which many of the professional speakers would. I've seen Justin sit, having given a keynote, to then interview the very nervous CEO on stage in this kind of conversation, to avoid the MD or CEO who couldn't speak terribly well, to get it out for him, all included in Justin's rate, which adds better value to the question that was there previously. Good speakers will deliver more for you. I'm